Record.
Good morning.
Hello. How are you, Belle?
Hello. I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, not too bad.
I'm very excited today. This is the first time that we've had a special guest.
Oh, yeah, I know. We sort of decided we were sick of each other, right? And we had nothing left to say to each other, and it was starting to turn from friendship to resentment. So we needed to bring a third party in.
We also know a lot of people, so it's kind of nice to be able to invite them on. Every time I'm talking to someone, they could come onto the podcast. So our special guest is going to be our experiment because we haven't added someone in yet.
Oh, yeah. And it's going to be it's good anyway, because I mean we know a lot of things, but we're not the all-seeing eye, believe it or not. And so there are some topics in the world that we just aren't the expert in, basically. And so it's a great chance for everyone to learn something different, and also for us to have an excuse to learn something as well.
Well, this particular topic, I'm going to readily admit that I am crap at. I genuinely try, but I probably do every single thing wrong when it comes to Instagram. And actually what's interesting is, so our guest is Charlotte, the amazing Charlotte. And we had lunch the other day. Mm-hmm. And it was funny because Charlotte went straight onto Instagramming story stuff. And I was just like, oh shit, I forgot Instagram stories existed.
Were you halfway through your meal already?
Yeah, and I already completely made the plate look horrible. And I was just like, oh, right, that's a thing. And I was like, this is why she's a lot better at this than I am.
The problem I find with Instagram is that it's just, like you say, it's about remembering to do it in your daily life. But also, I know in theory what I should be doing, but I just get lazy and I post kind of once a month to it. Which is really bad. That's not a good way to get followers. I think it's about there's things it's about regularity and stuff like that. And I think Charlotte will tell us a lot more about.
Yeah, so this will be interesting because it's two people who are actually pretty crap at Instagram talking to someone who's actually really good at it.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce Charlotte then?
Okay, yeah. So today we have a mysterious figure called Charlotte. To give her full Instagram handle, this is me being good and businessy. She is Charlotte Hu Co. And that's Who with an H-U and Co with a C-O. And she's based in London, and she shoots a mixture of things. So she shoots weddings and also food and a bit of hedgehog.
Hedgehog? Oh my
God. Yeah. And she currently has to date 37.4 thousand followers, which is impressive. Very, very impressive. And I think she's been featured on, I want to call Instagram Spotlight. I think that's the right thing. I'm sure she'll correct me if I'm wrong. So basically, welcome, Charlotte.
Yay! Hello. Very happy to be on your podcast as your guinea pig special guest.
So thanks for joining us today and to educate us all about Instagram and various things that you're up to. So did I get the introduction right about what you shoot and things like that?
Yeah, you did. So I guess I've got two strands to my work. I've got the commercial photography side where I do weddings and food and stuff, like you say. And then I've got the Instagrammy side. I guess in the industry, people call us influencers. I really hate that word. That word makes me want to puke, but I guess that's what I do.
You puke over your job. Do you have any ideas of what you'd rather call that job role?
I think content creator is a bit nicer.
Okay. Yeah. And how long have you been doing each of your different strands for?
I guess Instagram came first. I was scrolling back the other day just to see how long I've been on there. And my first ever photo I posted to Instagram was 6 days after they launched as an app, which was in 2010.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm an OG Instagrammer.
What was your first?
I actually do remember it coming out. I remember there was some other things that were coming out at the same time, and I remember I actually went with a different app because I couldn't tell the difference between the apps. And now that app doesn't even exist anymore.
I remember there was one called Hipstermatic.
Oh, that was the one. I started using because they were all doing the whole filter thing, and I just went with the Hipstermatic one instead of the Instagram one, and I chose wrong. I chose so wrong.
Can I ask, what was your first ever photo that you posted on Instagram?
Oh, it was bad. It was at nighttime. It had the flash on, my camera's inbuilt flash. It was, someone else took it of me baking at night. I mean, it's still food related, but it's just a really, really bad photo with a awful filter and border as well.
So if you scroll back far enough on your Instagram feed, you'll find that?
Oh, it gets really shit, yes.
So you've been in there for many years. What was the point when you sort of went from, I guess, posting photos of night baking to sort of thinking, actually, I want to have a direction? And how did you decide that?
early on, I found other people that were posting really cool stuff. Back in those days, Instagram was instant. Like you couldn't upload a photo that from your camera roll. You had to take it within the app. Everything was by definition instant. And it was really inspiring to see what other people just were able to style in the moment. That inspired me to try out new stuff. And I think maybe a year down the line, I sort of found my own style, I'd say.
Okay. And then were you already doing photography at that time, like professionally outside of, you know, like using it on your phone?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, wow.
I think Instagram sort of was the catalyst for that side of my job.
Oh, okay.
Definitely. I owe a lot to this little platform.
Okay.
When did you move into professional photography then?
Probably about a year or two into my Instagram life.
Wow. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It was like a massive pickup. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you mention it, call it Instagram Life. I mean, do you see it now as I guess you said that you credit it for helping you sort of start into professional photography, but do you feel like it's part of your whole lifestyle now then?
I'd say so. I've made a lot of friends through Instagram as well. I keep thinking back to my parents telling me as a child to never meet strangers off the internet, and now like half the people I know I've met through the internet.
Oh my God, that's so true, actually. Like, I have a lot of internet friends.
What would our parents say?
Danger.
And like you were saying earlier, Marianne, it's hard to separate just existing and being there from remembering to Instagram my life.
Because you want to live in the moment and just enjoy being alive. You don't want to have to think about social media and work and stuff all the time. So
exactly.
What would you say for someone like me who is really shit at remembering things, being able to remember those things and keeping up to date with like the social media aspect of it, and just being able to just exist and just hang out and enjoy the moment? Have you been able to find that balance?
Can I add to that as well? I mean, how often do you post and how often do you recommend posting, kind of thing?
I do try to find the balance. I'm getting better now than I used to be. I used to post way more often. I used to try and post at least once a day because this elusive Instagram algorithm everyone keeps talking about, there's all these, you know, rumors of rules like you have to post once a day, otherwise Instagram will make you, you know, fall off people's radars and stuff like that. But now I'm realizing the importance of just being in the moment and enjoying my time with friends. And so now I post less frequently, I'd say. When I'm with friends hanging out, I try to sort of allow myself a small window of time to post a picture of the food before it's eaten or whatever. But then I make a conscious effort to put the phone away and actually enjoy the time.
Oh, that's really good. So have you noticed when, let's say you were posting once a day to posting less, have you noticed a change in like your follower growth or the activity on the images, or do you feel like it's kind of the same?
I've definitely noticed the change. I think it has, the activity has slowed down.
Okay.
And it's not just the frequency of posting. There's lots of other rules and stuff you're supposed to do on Instagram, which affects that. You know what? Life is more important. Got to find the balance. Got to just live your life and you do you.
You've watched a lot of Black Mirror recently, right?
Oh my God.
I have a hard time watching Black Mirror. It hits so close to home on so many of the episodes that I have to be in the right frame of mind, and I can only really watch one episode at a time. I'm like 2 episodes in of the new series. I didn't even finish the last series. I couldn't get through.
No? Oh, it's good.
I'm going to eventually. Yeah. But they actually are making them faster than I can watch them. They're the type of things that you're just like, you think about them for like months later, and you're just like,
one of them really made me have like an existential crisis for about 2 weeks solid, and then I luckily forgot it.
Which one?
It's called San something. It's the 2 ladies with the. I don't really want to give it away in case people haven't watched it, but you know which episode I mean, right?
That's my favorite episode.
Yeah, I think that's a really popular one.
I did really like that. It was really beautifully shot, and like the story was so pretty.
It scared me.
It scared you?
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't really that one wasn't particularly scary.
No, I mean, you know, kind of thinking about life and all that kind of thing. But anyway, that's a way. I mean, I referenced Black Mirror just because of the. If anyone who hasn't watched it, it's a very like dystopian, technology-driven kind of what would our world be if technology overtook it. So yeah, sorry. But then it turned into me and my life. But anyway, back to Instagram.
So basically, you kind of started on Instagram, and then now you have your own you have your own wedding photography business and you have your own food business. Does Instagram drive that business? And are you finding it like it's promoting your business, or are you finding you have to promote it in other ways as well?
I think Instagram, it's really helpful for visual services, people that provide visual services. So photography, videography, even people like stationery and jewelry producers. It's just the best platform out there, in my opinion, to drive business. I think maybe 10% of my weddings, they find me through Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Do you guys ask your couples how they find you, and do you get anything from Instagram?
I do have it on my contact form that how did you find me, but it's not like a required form. But people actually always fill it in, which is really nice. I don't think off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone I've booked off Instagram. I have seen like activity and stuff come through off of Instagram, but I don't think I've booked a single wedding off Instagram, if I'm honest. Maybe that will change
after this podcast.
Yeah.
I think
I'm trying to get better at tagging the venues, because I feel like if I was a bride, I would like Instagram the shit out of my wedding venue. I'd be like, I wanted to see what everybody else is doing and like see like the photos that everybody else is taking to kind of get ideas about how my venue looks and stuff like that at different times of year. Because I did that for my own wedding venue, but Instagram didn't exist then. So I was using like Google Images and stuff like that to figure it out. I could totally see a bride now like going through the location tags and hashtags for their wedding venue, just trying to figure out more about that venue.
So that's a really good tip, actually. When you post a photo from a wedding you shot, find the actual handle, the tag for the venue or the dress or even the flowers, shoes, and also mention them in your hashtags. Because, yeah, you're right. That's what people who are planning their weddings are going to be looking for on Instagram. And that's how they'll find you.
Tag them in the photo, but also tag them as a hashtag as well. Oh, okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
See, I've always done the venue location thing, but I got to admit, it didn't occur to me to do things like the dressmaker or anything like that, even though I guess they're in every picture. Yeah. I'm missing a lot of things there. Yeah, you're right.
So you've got the benefit of people finding you through hashtags and location tags and things. But also when you tag like other suppliers, they're more likely to repost your photo on their feed and expose you to their audience as well.
I actually had this happen to me recently where a dress manufacturer, they took one of my images and put it up onto the Knot Instagram, which has like millions of followers.
It does,
and that was really, really cool of them. I guess it's like things like that could happen. I don't think I really gained a lot of followers out of it, but it was really cool to see my photo like on the Knot feed.
Yeah, and you only need like one prospective person who's a good fit to see that photo, and then, that could lead to an amazing wedding.
That's true.
All reaches opportunity, isn't it, really? That's what it's about.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think I've, just going back to your question, I think I've booked one wedding from Instagram. But I remember one time before I actually made some effort with Instagram. Like, I say some, it's like, it's gone from like 3 to a 5 an effort level out of 10. And one of my brides who I was meeting in person, she said to me, you know what, you should really put more stuff on Instagram, because that's like, I wanted to see your sort of portfolio really quickly. And I assume that what you put on Instagram is basically your curated best of, or your favorite images. And, you've only got I only had, I think, maybe, 80 images there on the time. And she said, you should put more up on there. So it's not necessarily, I think, that people will just come through Instagram, but also some people, it would just help enhance your sales tools, I guess.
Definitely. And that leads me on to the next Instagram tip, which is to just make sure that everything on there is of a really high quality. I mean, of course, you get like hot female celebs that can just post any blurry selfie and get 10,000 likes. But for the rest of us, mere mortals, I think only stick to like with the really high quality photos and leave the blurry selfies at home.
So there's an age-old debate, especially as Instagram went from being mobile only to being mobile and, you could upload photos. A lot of people say, do you keep it just assuming this is for photographers only, do you keep it just of the photos, or do you also include personal content?
A little while ago, I was mixing professional photos and personal photos in my stream. I've realized that the better way to do it is to split it out. So I actually made a personal account. So I have my wedding Instagram account, I have my professional Instagram account, which is the Charlotte Hugo one, and then I have a third one, which is just for silly stuff, like hanging out with friends, food I like that doesn't look too photogenic, stuff like that. So I have split them out now.
Okay, so you have 3 in total.
And then one for Bramble, the hedgehog.
Oh yeah, so tell us about Bramble. How many followers does Bramble have?
I don't know. I think about 1,000 at the moment.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's
She's
so
doing
cute.
well. She's doing okay.
Oh, it's a girl. Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. I've stopped correcting people because I'm like, who cares? She doesn't care.
I don't know why I assume hedgehogs are boys. It just sometimes it's just easier to.
I do that. I think all dogs, boys, and cats are girls for some reason.
Yeah. So is there just the one account that you focus on and the other one's kind of whenever, or do you have to really actually focus on all four?
I try to post on all four at least once a week, and then more often on my Charlotte Hooker one. It's Instagram make it a bit easier in that you can just switch between accounts, so you don't have to log in every time. People always go, whoa, when I tell them about I have 4 accounts that I manage, but I know people that manage more, so.
Because I did try and do a personal account last year. I tried to experiment with it. And I think the mistake I made is I made my personal account name too similar to my business account name. And then people really started tagging my business account, or when they went to go tag my business account, they were tagging my personal account instead.
Oh, right.
And I was just like, okay, that was a mistake. I deleted it just to make sure that it didn't happen. And I think I need to go back and create a personal account that has name-wise nothing to do with my business account.
Yes. Or I think if you set it to private, can they still tag you? I'm not actually sure.
Well, because there's people that I was already like friends with and stuff like that, like I think that's where it kind of got confusing. Because I did run into an instance where I had a follower mishap. I feel like I can talk about this because they're probably not going to hear.
Go on.
I was trying to curate the number of people that I was following and keep it small because I didn't want like my follower list to explode, because I was trying to like pull back on social media because I spend way too much time just on Facebook, just scrolling. And I'd unfollowed someone and they took it really personally. And I didn't expect that, because if someone unfollows me on Instagram, I don't know. My numbers go up and down. Like I'm sure some people unfollow me because the number goes down.
It's quite childish to take it personally, in my opinion.
If I only had maybe a handful of followers, I probably would take it more personally, because you know who every follower is.
Yeah.
Whereas like, because I don't know who all my followers are, if the numbers go up and down, I don't really care. And I didn't really want to hurt their feelings. I felt really, really bad about it. And I genuinely just didn't expect it. So I was like, okay, I actually need to maybe separate out my business and my personal one just to be able to have a more clear, defined line. I think for some people, Instagram is, maybe it's just, I just don't take it that seriously. And I need to learn that other people do.
You need to learn it's serious, Carrie.
Instagram is life. And I felt really bad because I didn't mean to cause offense, and apparently I did. And it kind of forced me to back off social media in general. This is a terrible story. It's putting a whole
everyone's like,
it's a cautionary tale.
I think it's a cautionary, but you have to be careful about following and unfollowing. I think mostly unfollowing you have to really be careful about, because somebody might notice and they might take offense to it.
Yeah.
Do you know about bots? About the following, unfollowing?
Is it a machine thing?
So basically there's these services out there where you can pay them money. They control thousands and millions of fake accounts. Their sole job is to use those accounts to boost your followers' likes, and also they have machines that follow and unfollow other accounts from your account.
Okay.
So basically every day they'll follow 50 new people, and then a day later unfollow those 50 people and follow 50 more new people.
So is it trying to get people to follow back to that account?
It's so stupid, but it's
that's probably why my numbers kind of go up and down. And just
it baffles my mind that people pay services to do this. And a lot of people were doing this because when you have the numbers, then you're able to like partner with brands and make money from Instagram. But nowadays, brands are starting to understand all these services a little bit more. And they're starting to think, what's the point of these numbers when they're not going to lead to sales because they're all fake accounts.
So are brands starting to look at people actually chatting on like the Instagram comments, and to see like actually how many actual interactions you have?
Yeah. So that's one way. And there's like analytics sites where you can view the follow history of Instagram accounts. So if you just put in your own username or any username into services like that, then they can see, they're following and unfollowing the same number of people every day. And then it's really easy to spot who's doing.
I didn't know that was a thing. That's really
interesting. So it's called socialblade.com. It's quite
Social Blade. Oh, okay.
Cutting. A bot's kind of like not against official rules, but kind of frowned upon. Is that kind of what you're saying?
At the moment, that's the case. But there was actually a really interesting article last week. This isn't about Instagram, but it's about Twitter. It was in the New York Times last week. There's this US company called Devumi, and they do the same thing as that, but they sell follows and retweets on Twitter, and they control like millions, like 3 million fake Twitter accounts. Last week, the New York Attorney General said he's going to start an investigation because that's impersonation and deception, and it's illegal under their state law. So I saw a news article update yesterday that said like a few million fake Twitter accounts have just disappeared within this past week because everyone's scared. And I'm guessing that's going to sort of cross over into the Instagram world, and people are starting to take it seriously because it's starting to cross sort of legal territory now.
With the downfall of bots and Skynet and whatever, what would your tips be then to sort of generate genuine engagement and to connect on a genuine level with people?
I think it does take time. Like the more time you put into liking and commenting on other people that you admire, and the more likelihood you're going to get that reciprocated. Just keep posting high quality content, like the best of your work.
Okay. So I shouldn't just be posting photos. I need to actually be like talking to other people and liking other people's. Okay, 'cause I think that's part of the mistake I'm making. I'm just like throwing photos up there and then just ignoring the rest of it.
It's hard because it does take time.
Yeah, and I find like I purposely didn't follow many people within the industry, even like my friends who, and I have the same on Facebook actually, like I haven't liked a lot of friends' Facebook pages, not because I don't like them as people, it's just because I didn't want my whole newsfeed to be just wedding photos. Kind of got a thing where I don't want to look at wedding photography in general, like otherwise I think it's going to sort of cloud or influence like the way I shoot. So it's the same with Instagram where I didn't really want to follow a lot of like wedding supplier stuff. So I follow some random things and I follow some guilty pleasure celebrities. Like secretly, I kind of really like Miley Cyrus, but she has a really fun Instagram feed, all right? It's always interesting. I think she has a great voice. But yeah, so I follow kind of things outside of weddings, but is that kind of, is that useless for me then? Should I be sticking to within my industry?
Do you think Miley Cyrus is going to follow you back?
Oh, well, probably not. No.
I think it's important to follow people outside of the industry just for your own sanity and for, just so that you don't lose all joy of social media. I follow a lot of dog accounts for the same reason. I just like to watch puppies play. Even there, commenting, interacting, just putting yourself out there. You never know what's going to come back from, non-wedding people. Everyone needs a photographer at some point.
Say if you're commenting on interacting on say sort of a lot of other dog feeds is what I'll call them. Is there anything with the sole sort of mysterious Instagram algorithm that means just by interacting in general that you will appear in other people's news feeds in general, or is it not like that? Is it literally very much more you're thinking of like if you interact there, someone would literally see your comment and click on it directly?
I think it's both. Everything I know about the algorithm is just a rumor because it's so elusive. No one actually knows how it works except the people that coded it themselves.
Things like Instagram and Google do that on purpose because if you knew how it works, then everybody would break the system.
Exactly.
So if everybody knows how to rank number one in Google, then everyone's just going to do that. There is a reason why it's invisible.
I bet there is no algorithm. I bet that's a secret.
Do you guys use stories ever?
Oh, yeah.
I actually really like the Instagram stories. I think they're really fun because I just have my my business account at Carrie Bellamy. I should mention it, and I also have an account for my cat at Quentin T Cat. I know every podcast we do, I realize now that I end up talking about my cat, and I'm just like a nerdy, crazy cat lady, and I think that's probably an accurate depiction.
I'm going to follow your cat.
Oh, please do. So I've realized that like because I don't have at the moment I don't have a personal account. I feel like a lot of my personal Instagram stuff actually ends up going into Instagram stories. And so hopefully I kind of think that like, all right, so you see my work, and then if they want to see a bit more of who I am as a person, they can click on my Instagram stories. But I still try and make my Instagram stories to be really I don't want the images to be crap. I still want them to look nice. Because I feel like anything that I put up there that looks terrible is going to be a reflection on my photography work.
I think that's a really good strategy, showing more of your personality, the stories, best of your work in the feed.
I like the fact that there's less responsibility there because you know it's going to disappear within 24 hours or whatever. And so I do it that way where my main feed, I only have one account for photography. The main feed is just all wedding stuff taken with the camera. And then the stories is where I put anything personal. So I have no permanent personal feed. But I got to admit, I don't curate it very well. And I literally see it as like, I'm going to take whatever snapshot and just write a little message over it. Is that bad, do you think? Do you think I should be sort of paying more attention to the style of the photo and the stories?
No, I don't think so. As long as you're making people laugh or whatever it is you want them to respond. I'm just trying to think of the people that I admire and I like watching the stories of, and I'm never judging the quality of the story. I follow them because they make me laugh or they go to cool places or whatever reason. It's not the quality of the photo within the story. It's the same with Snapchat, I guess.
So I need to stop being so anal about my Instagram stories.
Or just have more fun with it.
And I have to be more interesting with my Instagram stories, I guess, and not just be like, I wore shoes today.
As long as you are using stories, because ever since the Instagram feed went non-chronological, we're just not being seen by all of our followers.
It didn't occur to me that it wasn't chronological. Is it? It's not.
Yeah, no. If you just open up Instagram and scroll down, you'll see like the first photo will be from maybe 2 days ago, and then an hour ago, and so it's like Facebook now. It's just out of order.
Oh,
It's a bit annoying because it means that not all of your followers will necessarily see all of your photos. Whereas in stories, you can be sure it will always be at the top.
So say if you've just posted a new photo to your feed, do you ever post a story about that where you say, oh, new upload or anything like that as another way to sort of direct people back to the feed? Or is that not really a thing?
Sometimes I'll post like a behind the scenes sort of whatever it is I've posted in the main feed, like the setup of the room. Or other times if I've posted something on my blog, I'll post a little sneak preview on my stories, and there's that feature where you can say swipe up to go directly to the blog.
Oh, hang on. Talk to me about that because I don't know about that one. What?
Do it.
What?
So first of all, your Instagram account has to be a business account rather than a personal one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like link it to your Facebook page, basically. And then when you're posting the story, there's a little link icon. And if you click that, you can add a hyperlink.
Ah.
And then if people swipe up from it, it will just go directly to your link.
So is there an advantage or disadvantage of having your Instagram be a business account rather than a personal account? So because I had it as a business and then I turned it back into personal. I'm wondering if am I better off having it as a business account?
Do you remember why you chose to switch it back?
At the time, it was sending me a lot of like things like, hey, advertise and analytics and stuff like that. I was just like, and someone had mentioned randomly that personal accounts will be ranked higher than business accounts. I kind of was thinking about like personal versus business Facebook pages. And I know how Facebook had started holding your followers hostage. And so it's just like, well, I might as well just leave it personal. I'm not doing anything else really. Wondering if there's more features as far as being able to do like the link thing in Instagram stories. If I was just being stupid and paranoid, or am I better off just actually having it as a business one?
I guess the other advantage of having it as a business account is the analytics side. You can see a lot more insight into each photo. So if I click insights on a photo, I can see how many people clicked from that photo onto my profile, how many people came to it from a hashtag or came to it from
that would be
else.
useful information.
I hadn't actually heard of that, like the advantages of having it personal over business before.
I think it was just some random rumor, and I was just like, oh, okay. So you remember back in the day when like Facebook business pages were really the thing to have?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I feel now like Facebook is really holding business pages hostage.
Yeah.
What if Instagram does the same thing? But to be honest, like I have so few followers, it makes no difference whatsoever. So, and I don't get any work from Instagram, so it doesn't, I should stop being paranoid and just turn it into a business.
Give it a try. You can always turn it back again.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought the same thing as Carrie, where I've never gone into the business account thing just because I was worried that if in the future something would happen, and because they're run by the same company now, right? Like I think Facebook bought Instagram. Is that right?
Yeah.
That kind of gives me a feeling that eventually something like that will happen. But until then, you can swipe up and press on the link.
Yeah, I've always got that in my mind. I always remember that Instagram didn't exist like 7-8 years ago. So like when's it gonna move on to the next platform?
If you're running a personal account, is there any other way to sort of link things up then?
I don't think so. I think if you change the hyperlink on your profile page, I think that's the only way.
Okay. So you can't write it in comments or something, or?
No, it's not clickable.
Okay. So literally they've locked it all out. So you have to, okay, interesting.
They want you to stay in Instagram.
Yeah.
So they don't want you to click out to other websites and stuff like that. So they're making it harder and harder for you to exit Instagram.
For a few accounts in America, they started rolling out this new feature where you can click a certain product on the picture and it'll take you to the website to buy that product.
So they're trying to figure out ways to make money cleverly.
Exactly.
So speaking of making money, do you then make money directly as a result of your Instagram account and your Instagram followers then?
Yeah, there's a few different ways you can make money as a influencer.
Content creator.
Content creator, thank you. I think brands have sort of started to realize that we have these established, quite defined market segment following. So rather than put a generic advert on TV where you're appealing to too wide of an audience, why not utilize people on Instagram with a certain following whose followers are, geographically and age-wise and, gender-wise, that are quite niche. There's a few different ways I make money. There's sponsored posts. So a brand might give me a certain product or take me to a certain place and pay me to mention that place in the post. Or there's Instagram takeovers where they give me access to their Instagram account for a day or a week or something.
Okay.
And I just post my pictures to their account. And then I tell my followers to check my photos on their account.
Oh, okay.
And then there's sort of affiliate schemes, which I'm not actually done before, but it's where you partner up with a brand for a longer period of time and you receive a commission of whatever sales you generate for them.
Okay. And is this something that you approach brands for, or brands approach you, or how do people tend to connect up for these arrangements?
I've been really bad, actually. I've never actually... Have I? No, I've never actually approached anyone myself, which is awful. I really need to start approaching the people I want to work with.
You gotta hustle, Charlotte. Hustle.
I know. I've been very lucky so far in that there's just people I happen to meet through Instagram sort of related events and mutual friends and people I meet through commercial jobs. That then leads to Instagram related work.
Wait. They have Instagram related events. Is there Instagram parties that I'm not being invited to?
So back in the day before anyone was making money on Instagram, it was much more of a community thing because there was no money involved. And we had what was called Insta Meet.
Oh, okay.
So you just agree to meet at this certain spot on a certain day and there'll be 20, 30, 50 people and you just go for a walk together and take pictures together.
Oh, okay.
It was really nice. I wish that still happened. So that's how I made a lot of Instagram friends, things like that.
So you mentioned about brands that you sort of feel you should approach. Who have you got in mind?
Name drop. I want names, Charlotte.
I'll send it to them personally. This podcast.
Dear brand, have you met my friend Charlotte? She's amazing.
I would love to do more travel photography work. I think that's we all love to travel. I love to travel.
Yeah.
I'd love to go everywhere. And I've done a few, travel related press trips where certain tourism boards take me somewhere and show me around and I post on Instagram for them. And I would love, love, love to do more of that. Anywhere in the world. I should just write an email to every tourism board that I want to visit. And also, I know we spoke about this in real life last week, but that whole fiasco with that YouTuber who tried to approach the hotel in Ireland.
Oh, yeah. It's almost like watching a car crash. It's funny to see it from a distance. I don't want to be involved in it personally. But so basically if people aren't aware, if they're not connected to the internet, then I have no idea how they're listening to us. But this YouTuber girl sent a letter to some hotels in Dublin because she wanted to spend Valentine's week in Dublin with her boyfriend. And so she just sent these generic letters to these hotels being like, look at all the followers I have. Let me stay in your hotel for free with my boyfriend. And one hotel, they posted her letter on their Facebook page and they tried to cover up the name. It seems like they made an attempt to cover up the name, but not a particularly great attempt at covering up the name. And their response of being absolutely bugger off. It just really just taking the mick out of her. And it just turned into this giant fiasco, making the hotel look funny and then the YouTuber look really bad. I don't think the hotel came off particularly. They came off funny, but not amazingly.
Well, the guy who runs the hotel is famous for doing like viral abuse, is how I'm probably maybe can describe it. Do you know about him? Like White Moose? Yeah, he roasts people. That's what it is. Yeah. So I assume that she had contacted them genuinely, and then the hotel had done its usual roasting thing. But then at that point, I think she made a video, and I think both of them saw it as a PR opportunity. I mean, that was my take on it.
I think you're right. I think they've both come away with a lot more followers than they had before.
Yeah.
People are talking about them like we are. Their names are out there. So perhaps it was all a PR opportunity.
I think it's probably, it may have been just an accidental PR stunt. Like it didn't happen on purpose. It seemed genuine, but then they're just like, oh, well, if I come out with more followers and it's not the end of the world. The girl didn't look particularly great in her video because she just made it seem like, oh, people give me these things and this is how it is.
Yeah.
Rather than being just like genuinely really grateful for the opportunity that she has. I think that's the way she asked for the free room just came off really bad.
Agreed. There was no part of her email that made it sound like she'd done research into the actual hotel. She could have made it a lot more personal, been more polite. But at the same time, I feel sorry for her. I don't know what it would do to me to get roasted like that publicly and the backlash she's faced.
And she's very young, so she probably it's one of those experience things that she didn't really know better.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you say that you haven't approached many brands, but what would your tips be for approaching brands, I guess, in the sense of like, how would you write it? You say that you need to do research into the company?
Absolutely. Research to explain why you want to go to that place or work with that brand, what you admire about them, why you think you and them will be a good fit. And then I would take it much more from a business perspective, try and make them see exactly what they're going to get out of it. So she just said, oh, I have this many followers and I've been here, which was, what was it, like Disneyland?
It was like Universal, I think, yeah.
Yeah, Universal, that was it. I don't think that's enough detail. I think you have to say, if I were to work with you, I could post 2 photos on my Instagram, and this is what the average views I get for each photo. Basically spell out exactly what you could do for them and the numbers that they can expect from you.
So I have to say though, like from an advertising perspective, I kind of like this method of advertising more because I feel like I'm getting things that are more based around the things that I want to see.
Right. Yeah.
And more based on like how someone actually genuinely uses them versus like being forced to watch the same commercial over and over and over again. I think it's a bit more interactive. I don't mind being advertised to if I feel like I'm being advertised to in a way that I find interesting.
Yes, that's really important.
So like that's part of the reason why I just hate watching television is because I just don't like ads. And I find them ads are just things I'm not interested in and stuff like that. Whereas if it's an ad that I'm just like, oh, I really like that thing. Oh, I didn't know that was coming out. Oh, okay. Like I don't mind. I don't mind seeing.
Same. I kind of feel that way about Facebook ads, where I know a lot of people say like, "Oh, I don't like the fact that they're reading our emails or listening to our phones and stuff." But I've seen a lot of really great products that I have actually bought through Facebook adverts, and that's fine by me. Like show me the cool shit.
But it's like I don't mind being told about the things that are coming out that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
As otherwise, I probably would never know.
My clothes would be from the 50s.
That's true. It's actually, my husband and I were talking yesterday, because we don't really watch TV, we don't really know what movies are coming out because we never go to the movies. Then we never see previews. And so then we look at the list of movies that are in the theater and we're like, I don't know any of these movies. And so then we're not interested in seeing any of these movies, but they might be really good because we didn't really see the advertising for them. We've pulled ourselves out of the advertising loop, and it's actually kind of done a slight disadvantage to us because then there's things that we might like that we're not aware of.
You can always just take it from, friends that you have similar tastes to. Just take their recommendations. You're probably saving a lot of money by not going to the cinema.
Actually, I'm not. What's funny is actually me and Marianne are in the same boat. We both get free movie tickets. Both my husband and I get a pair of free movie tickets each week.
Yeah.
So I'm literally can go to the movies for free. I am not going to the movies at all.
Really? I'm literally like, so I've taken Charlotte a couple of times on the free tickets. I love it. I basically am like, even if the movie's total utter shite, I'm like, I am getting my £12 ticket worth. And I will sit there and watch some terrible, terrible movies.
We went a couple of nights ago and I was commenting that this was the first time we'd gone in months.
No.
It's true. And it's so sad because we get free movie tickets. We should go.
Yeah.
And we don't. Every podcast I come up with something more and more pathetic.
Last time it was the fighting robots, I think. We had like a whole dialogue about fighting robots for like a good 5 minutes. Where we realised that Carrie's like into the abuse of robots and is definitely not going to survive the robot apocalypse
Revolution. Yeah.
because you are not a friend to metal.
Well, it's like watching dog fighting and then being like, I love dogs. Do you?
You were basically like that. Yeah. One time we'll get through a podcast where Carrie doesn't say something insane.
There was also a podcast where I went ranting on about
bunkers. Oh yeah, sorry, Charlotte.
This is why I listen to you guys.
Bunkers, yeah.
I live for this stuff.
Oh god, but it's true though. Like that advertising in itself isn't bad. It's not, especially if you're being advertised in a way that you find interesting.
Yeah.
And then it's up to the content creators to establish that sort of balance between making money and staying authentic to their audience so that they maintain their audience trust.
So you dropped us a lot of tips along the way in between all of our random. So I'm still laughing a little bit inside. Is there anything else that you would advise to people who are shit at Instagram like us to like sort of make us good? Make us good, Charlotte.
I think just consistency, just like set yourself a goal, say I will post 3 photos a week or something like that. And I will post 5 stories a week.
Okay.
Just try that for a few weeks and you'll find yourself improving just naturally.
Yeah. I was going to say, I use a website called Planoi. I don't know if you use the same one.
No.
And I found it really helpful for being able to, so that it's spelled, I should actually.
I think I know. It's plan and then it's OLY on the end.
So when I'm importing a wedding, called the wedding in Photo Mechanic, I import it into Lightroom and then I've sent it out to the outsourcer and then I will grab a few images to send as a sneak peek to the client.
Yeah.
And so I've exported those images as a sneak peek to the client. And then in the same move, I then take the same sneak peek images and upload them into Planoi. And then I use those for my Instagram feed. So it literally takes like a minute between the whole flow. But I found that really easy. It's really easy to take images from my workflow and then put them into my Instagram feed.
So this is a desktop app, is it? Or
it's a web app. It works on the web, but it behaves like an application. So what Planoi does is it kind of gives you like a calendar view and you can kind of click and drag images over into the calendar view for posting. And then you have to install the app on your phone because Instagram doesn't like auto posters. It still wants you to actually physically post from your phone. Dings on your phone being like, hey, you've scheduled an Instagram post. Actually, have to press a couple buttons and it posts it on Instagram. But I found Planoi to be really helpful for adding it into my workflow, from sending a sneak peek to the client to putting it into my Instagram feed. I didn't know if there's other things that existed like that.
That sounds brilliant because I have heard of other services and apps that do something similar. Got that already integrates with the current workflow. That's just perfect.
Do you use anything like that, like a scheduler, Charlotte, or do you post live all the time?
I have a app which just gives you a preview of your upcoming feed. So I just use it to plan where I'm going to, like, you know, on your profile page, I like my overall feed to look a certain way. That's probably just a bit anal of me. I don't think anyone else cares what my profile page looks like.
I think some people do really curate it though. Like they want it to have like a certain like airy feel or like almost like a pink color scheme. Because when you do look at some feeds, they do feel really curated.
Yeah, and I think those are the ones that actually do better when you have a certain look. But I don't have anything that notifies me of dates that I'm planning to post stuff. I think just because I don't take enough photos these days to do that.
Okay.
So whenever I do take a new photo, I post it because I haven't posted in a while. Maybe I should, schedule some more photos from weddings that I have done in the past that I've not shared before.
Well, I'm actually finding because when I start using Planoi, and it's like the winter, so I'm not shooting a lot right now. I've been posting a lot of old portfolio shots on there, almost to remind people of like what my portfolio looks like.
Yeah, that's great.
And some of them are a year, 2 years, 3 years old, but they're actually still getting a lot of traction because I haven't posted them on Instagram before. Wow, I actually have an Instagram tip. This is amazing.
This is good.
I didn't expect that one to come out of here. So I've actually found like the most recent photo I posted on Instagram got what I would consider a lot of likes for me. Probably for Charlotte, she's like, that's a quiet day. And like for me, like, hey, someone liked the photo. And then it's a photo I took like a couple of years ago. So it's almost, I feel like it's reminding people, hey, like these are photos that I've taken. And so I don't necessarily have to have fresh photos. They can just be photos that didn't exist on Instagram before.
Absolutely.
And I actually have it set up that it cross-posts between Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest.
I think Pinterest is actually a more useful skill than most people realize. It drives a lot of traffic.
Have you had inquiries from Pinterest?
I have, yes.
Oh.
And I think the same sort of tips that I gave earlier about Instagram apply. Just make sure the venue and some suppliers are mentioned in the caption when you upload them to Pinterest.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go back a bit. When you were talking about looking at the overall appearance of your profile grid, what kind of things are you looking for then? Is it as Carrie said, like a color scheme, or is it like composition, or?
It's, colours, the way things look on top of each other. Again, I don't think anyone else cares, but I hate it when, for example, as you're looking at the 3x3x3, I hate it when there's two quite similar photos or two photos from the same shoot on top of each other.
Okay, fair enough, yeah.
Just things like that.
Okay.
I've seen like with a lot of people that do more like, because I follow like skincare stuff where they'll like be posting about like a particular skincare product. They'll have the shot kind of, it seems like they shoot all their product shots in the same place, the same background. So a lot of times the product shots have a similar color scheme kind of going between them because they were shot in the same way. And I think like that kind of works for cohesiveness because they're shooting these things in kind of in the same light in the same places.
Is it like brand recognition, you mean?
Yeah, like you're talking about a particular product. You want to show that product. I'm thinking in particular of one blog and Instagram where they post a lot of stuff for The Ordinary, but they've posted it in ways that like they're posting it like on like a marble background, which is like kind of hip looking and stuff like that. And they'll have like the marble background appearing in multiple places on their Instagram feed. And I feel like that kind of thing works really well for cohesion. But I don't think that really works really well for wedding photographers because unless we're posting like a lens.
I guess the way we maintain consistency with wedding feeds is just the fact that we have a style.
If you're doing like a lot of off-camera flash stuff and lots of like dance floor stuff, showing a lot of that would have consistency on the feed. Or if it's like a lot of sunset, romantic, beautiful light coming through the background, that would probably have some consistency as well. And also your own post-processing has consistency. At least hopefully you're doing the same processing.
Right. Right.
I have learned a lot. This was very educational.
Yeah, I never thought of interacting with people. I never thought I had to give to receive. God damn it. I just want to take. I want to take and take and take. And Charlotte's ruined this for me now.
Charlotte, how long do you spend probably just on Instagram a week, just like interacting with people and stuff like that? Do you think you spend like an hour a day on it, or?
I'd say maybe 2 hours a day.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I gasped.
And are you doing this on your phone or on your computer?
On my phone mostly. On days where I'm traveling, it might be more if I'm on a bus for a while. I'll listen to a podcast and open up Instagram. But when I'm at home, it'll be split between the computer and the phone.
I need to up my game.
No, live your life. I'm wasting my life.
Charlotte's like, get out whilst you can, get out.
It's interesting because like social media plays so much of a role in our lives. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like, okay, I need to back away and not spend so much time on it. But it has done me a lot of good in general as far as promoting my brand and meeting new friends. And it's just finding that balance, which I'm not particularly great at.
As long as it's not affecting your mental health. I think recently I've seen more and more content creators and influencers take hiatuses from Instagram and YouTube and other platforms just because it's affecting them negatively, their mental health negatively. So as long as it's not bordering into that territory, then do what makes you happy.
And this is something I'm actually covering at the Snap Photography Festival in April, which actually both Carrie and I are speaking at, talking about mental health. One of the sort of common issues that self-employed photographers have is techno-stress, which is basically like all the stress and anxiety that comes associated with overuse of technology. So, that was a little casual name drop.
Nice.
With no real direction.
But it is totally a thing. And I definitely feel it. I think when people are talking about like, oh, how do I get more prevalent on Instagram? You really do have to talk about how do you find that balance in your life and still have a life.
In a way, the robots already have taken over. It has begun. So Carrie, I'll keep an eye out for you.
So speaking of workshops, I understand, Charlotte, that you're doing a workshop soon.
Yeah.
I said that weird. Workshop? I can't talk. Yes, workshop soon.
Absolutely. So I'm part of this collective called Creating for Good. It was actually a year ago tomorrow. 10 of us met. We'd all met through Instagram. So we all sat down in a room and decided that the world was a bit shit. That's basically how it began. It was like post-Trump. It was just at a time where everyone felt a bit blue. And we all sat down and we were like, can we do anything? Most of us were self-employed and we don't have a lot of disposable income to actually physically give to charity. So we thought, how else can we help? And we just looked at each other and we realized, between us, we have all these creative skills. We all had a decent following and like useful connections within the industry. So we thought, why don't we just use our skills to try and help instead? So we decided to set up this thing called Creating for Good. We picked 3 charities that we wanted to help throughout the year. And I think at the time we were just all worried for women and refugees. So we picked 3 charities called Women for Women, Just Bread, which is a charity that trains refugee women and female asylum seekers in the UK how to bake bread, and another one called Breaking Barriers, which is to train refugees in the UK on how to enter the UK job market. So we do a series of different stuff. We run creative workshops. We do like individual mentoring. We do brand partnerships and panel discussions and bits and bobs to raise money for these 3 charities. So it's coming up to a year now and we've raised £25,000 so far.
Oh, wow.
Amazing. Oh, well done.
So yeah, we're quite proud of ourselves. And yeah, we're entering year 2. Going to pick up some new charities to partner with and see how it goes.
So are you hosting workshops, and then the workshops you're hosting, then that money goes towards the charities?
Yes. So last spring we did our first creative conference, we called it, and we're going to do another one this April. Sorry?
What's the date of it?
The 21st of April.
Okay.
It's going to be a full day of workshops. So last year I taught how to get past auto on the DSLR. Basically just an intro into manual mode. I'm going to teach that again this year. And then other Instagrammers and creatives are going to teach stuff like visual storytelling and how to use Instagram stories properly and food styling and making cinemagraphs and stuff like that.
So is it mostly aimed at people who are photographers, or is it open to kind of anyone who's following you on Instagram, or, how do people get access and who's it for really?
So we've been advertising mostly via Instagram. And last year we had quite a mix of people. Some people were just individuals that wanted to pick up some new skills. Some people were like bloggers and photographers trying to improve their skills. Some were small businesses that just wanted to learn how to better promote whatever service or product they offered. And this year we're going to try and also sell it to more like PR agencies and creative agencies, because we think some of our classes might be useful for them too.
And it's all in the name of a good cause.
Yeah, it worked really well last year, and we provided lunch for everyone, cooked by Danny from The Social Kitchen. She's amazing. She made this incredible lunch for everyone. And then we got, just through our connections from working through brand partnerships on Instagram, we managed to get all the breakfast and drinks and wine and everything donated from brands.
Oh, wow.
So
great day.
Instagram has facilitated something amazing in real life.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. It made us feel good. Yeah.
I really like that you feel like you're learning something, you're going to something that you want to learn about, but you're also giving money. That money's going straight to charity.
Been quite particular about that. We haven't set up a bank account even. We've just, the way we get money from people is to give them the Just Giving page of that charity.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they just prove to us that they've donated.
So it's happening at the 21st of April in London. Is it all sold out, or is it there's still places?
We haven't started selling yet.
Okay.
We're announcing it tomorrow, I think.
Okay. What we'll do is we'll put a link to that in our video description in case anyone's listening and wants to go along.
So what's next in the life of Instagrammer Charlotte Hugh?
What's next? I've got a few more Instagrammy jobs coming up. Going to Bordeaux with Airbnb next month. And
do you have some amazing Airbnb in Bordeaux book? Are you going to different Airbnbs to see them?
Just the one. It's just a weekend trip, but I've picked a very nice one. I'm very excited.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I know. We're both sitting here thinking damn.
I can't wait to be an Instagram influencer myself.
Yeah. I want all the free stuff. No,
you've got this.
That's not what it's about.
You can totally do it.
Well, Charlotte, it was so awesome to have you as our first official podcast guest. Hopefully that wasn't painful.
It's fun. It's fun.
Yay!
My favorite parts are when you guys go off on a tangent. That's why I listen to you guys.
we can go off on other tangents as well.
How do you feel about robots? Thank you for coming in. It's been really, really enlightening and really interesting to learn about everything you're doing.
We need to do a jingle at some point. I never introduced a jingle. I forgot to do it in the last podcast. So I'll start singing it. Chua
And
the bell. And then I'll just have it play in. Chua and the bell.
Oh, Chua.